I posted on my TikTok saying that Neymar had the greatest season ever on the caption, and somebody said, "Oh." Some people are like, "Oh no, you're delusional. You don't know what you're talking about. Neymar's so overrated. He's nowhere near close to Messi, and he can never also get close to Ronaldo. He's one of the most overrated players. Um, as much as De Stefano. Now, in that statement, that's already a lot of crime. He should go to jail for that. Why 91 goals in 1 year wasn't actually that impressive? Now, I don't know about this guy, but that's fucking stupid because that is very much impressive. That is actually the most impressive thing I've ever seen in football history. But hey, it's the same guy too. It's the same guy, Daily Dose of Football. Shout out him. Subscribe to him. I'm going to like this video. How about that? Because of I just know he's going to change my mind. Maybe. So hopefully he changes yours too. If not, tell me why he doesn't. Because he's made this title so convincing. It might be clickbait, but he's made it so convincing. He says why 91 goals in 1 year wasn't actually that impressive.
So, listen to this. There are a lot of bad football takes out there. Then there are some that are awful, but there's a special
always
kind
wearing the same shirt
that
too.
is just
Same shirt.
irritating. And among those, there is one that I just find excruciating. Messi's 91 goal season is
What's
overrated.
wrong with that?
Like, come on. Gareth Muller set the record at 85 back in 1972. Back then, Sir Alex was just some striker playing out in Scotland, and Pep Guardiola was a literal baby.
What does that
40 years later, that record had almost been forgotten in the sense that no one thought it could be broken. Sure, Romário had miraculously hit 72 goals in the year 2000, but most Europeans brushed that off as something that could only happen outside of the top 5 leagues. However, then it happened. 91 goals in a single calendar year. For some perspective, that year the Euros were played, right? 368 players, 31 matches. Do the math and counting substitutes and all that, that's 807 total player appearances. But still, altogether, they only scored 76 goals all tournament.
Okay.
Sure, it's a dumb comparison. I'm including
Wait,
defenders.
I already know how impressive the catalog is. How 91 goals is impressive. His title was why it is overrated, or why it's not impressive. So why the heck is he making me believe more that it's impressive?
Even goalkeepers, and it's the Euros. The standards are pretty high pretty much every match. However, I'll tell you this. Ronaldo was obviously the second highest goal scorer that year, with 63 goals that would have likely stolen all the headlines if not for Messi. Yet, take Benzema, Real Madrid's second highest goal scorer that year, had his goals to Ronaldo's, and it's still only 93. That's just 2 more goals than Messi. And you know what? If that still feels a bit underwhelming, I'll give you one final comparison that I think you'll appreciate.
Me off.
In that calendar year, Man City won their first Premier League title. Their squad was stacked for goal-scoring options. Agüero, Checo, Balotelli, Tevez, Yaya Touré, Nasri. And still, if you add together all of their goals, club and country, because I don't want to see anyone complaining in the comments about that, it all adds up to 90. Still one short of Messi.
What's your point?
And still, no matter what, I still feel like the one thing that makes that number look more impressive than anything else is that Messi himself never even got close to repeating it. He never even made it past 60 in any other year of his career. So, how can it be that there are still
that's
people
kind
out
of
there
dumb
who think
him.
that year was...
I don't like that. Take that back right now. That's Daddy Messi. I take that back right now. Okay? He didn't repeat it because he didn't want to. He doesn't have an ego. Camera, whoa. Camera, whoa. Like, he doesn't have an ego, so he just wanted to like look like as if he can't do it again. But low key, he could do it again if he wanted to. Right now, he could do it again. He's in MLS, so like they literally, he would tell all the teams to just give him 91 goals if he wants to. But he's not gonna do that because he understands that he just wants to have fun with this. He's won the World Cup. He has a beautiful, girl and kids. He has everything. I can't even list how many things he has. He just has everything. Okay, literally everything. So yeah, bro, like, that's disrespect. You should definitely take that back. I don't like that. I definitely don't like that.
Overrated. Well, first, trolls, haters, whatever you want to call them. But much more interestingly, as I was saying in the beginning, what annoys me the most in this case is not that they're wrong, It's that they're actually kind of right, just for the completely wrong reasons. And
Okay.
I know, it sounds like I'm about to commit football sacrilege, but hear me out.
Get to the
If you
point.
could rewatch any year from Messi's career as if it were the first time, would you pick 2012? I don't think anyone who actually knows his career well would. And the reason is simple. As amazing of an achievement, as amazing of a stats line as those
Okay.
91 goals were,
I actually don't know.
2012 just wasn't his best year. Look, tell me another thing.
Yeah, that was
What
when
are
he was
your
fat,
top 3
right?
favorite performances by Messi? The absolute
2019.
most memorable, the ones that define who Messi is as a player.
20. Okay, let's chat. You guys name it as well. 2019, 2000 and 2019, 2015, maybe 2009, 2010 when he won the treble with Pep. Like when Pep became the coach and he won that treble. Yeah, 2009 to 2010 season, 2015 and 2019. Those are the best seasons. Like generally. What do you guys think?
In your head.
YouTube, put
I'll
out in
give
the
you
comments what's your
a
best
few more
season.
seconds, but I can bet almost none of you thought of any performances from 2012. And you know why? Because if instead I had asked you to name the best performance from 2012, most of you would have told me it was the match where he scored 5 against Leverkusen.
Right.
Which is phenomenal, obviously, but it is also a last 16 match that had already been resolved in the first leg. You see what I mean? The stakes weren't exactly the highest. Messi's season wouldn't have been any different if he hadn't
still
scored any
impressive.
of those goals. And that's it. Check any list of his top 10 or even top 20 ever performances online. That's the only one from that season that ever shows up. Maybe some of you will mention that famous El Clasico where both he and Ronaldo scored 2, but really, and sort of ironically, that was like a 2-for-1 special. I don't think anyone sits and thinks that was one of Messi's best ever performances. And honestly, that was the overarching theme in 2012. So let's break it down. First, the
He's kinda
elephants
getting
in the
me now.
room.
He's
How do
kinda-
you score 91 goals and
Okay.
not win the league?
Anything.
Well, it's gotta be the team, right? As I saw in one of your comments just a few days ago, football is a team game. Messi could score 91 goals, but if the keeper lets in 91, it's the keeper who lost him the trophy, not Messi. However, that just doesn't apply because Barcelona had the best defensive record in the country. In fact, one obvious thing that has to be pointed out is that Barcelona had 91 points regardless, 30 more than third place Valencia. Those 91 points would have won them the league in every season from 1997 till 2009 at the beginning of the Ronaldo and Messi era. Because that's the thing, Messi scored 91 goals that year, but obviously not all of them were in La Liga, and La Liga's top scorers table that year is the stuff of legend. Let's put it like this. Falcao finished his season with 24 goals. That would have been enough to win him the Pichichi La Liga's top scorer award in 29 out of the 50 seasons up until Messi debuted. Yet, if he checked the
Bro,
top of
what's
the
the
goal
whole
scorers
point?
table
You're
at the end of
bringing-
the season, he'd find that Messi hadn't just scored a few more goals than him, he had scored more than double. 50 goals in 37 games. Before him, the record was 38, split between Hugo Sanchez and Telmo Zarra.
Yeah.
But Falcao wasn't the only one to get unlucky that year because in that top scorers table between them both was Cristiano Ronaldo with 46 goals. Meaning he was unlucky because he didn't even get an award for that, and Messi was unlucky because had any other player been in Ronaldo's place, he'd surely have won the league. As much as 50 league goals is one of the most ridiculous things you've ever seen, two guys scoring 96 league goals between them is even more ridiculous. And unfortunately, that 4-goal difference wasn't gonna sway the league title anyone's way. What ended up making the real difference was in which moments, in which matches, those goals were scored. Now, you could maybe argue that it was consistency that made the difference, but Messi scored in 26 out of the 38 match days, which is only 2 fewer than Ronaldo, and one of them was just because he didn't play. So I don't think that's where the problem lies. Another common thing is what the
Bro,
kids
this
like to call
honestly
stats
helps a lot of Ronaldo art, like Ronaldo fans. Like generally, this helps a lot of Ronaldo fans. Like Speed definitely needs to watch this. Like I'm going to post this on TikTok, tag Speed, and tell him to go watch this video because he can. People always bring up two things when you say Ronaldo is better than Messi. It's either the 91 goal season, of course, or the World Cup, and you can make arguments about both. You can very much make arguments about both. The Ballon d'Or, we all know the Ballon d'Or is rigged. We all know the Ballon d'Or is rigged. Messi did not deserve 8. He does not deserve 8. I'm sorry, I love Messi. I would dick suck him. I would bounce on it, do tricks on it. I would fucking suck it. I would do everything, alright? But he did not deserve and does not deserve 8. He, low key, like, no, high key, like, what he actually deserves, like, if we're thinking about it real carefully, 6 or 7. Like, generally, 6 or 7. He does not deserve 8. And 7 is just me being nice. It's 6, and Ronaldo needs 6, not 5. So it's supposed to be tied right now. But anyways, Ronaldo fans, watch this video. Daily dose of football. Why 91 goals in 1 year wasn't actually that impressive. I'm putting you on game.
Which can either mean scoring only when your team is already in front. And in that case, well, 66% of Messi's goals came precisely in those moments, while Ronaldo did substantially better with just 50%. On the other hand, stat padding can also mean mostly only scoring against the weakest teams in the league. But there, the median and average position of the clubs they scored against is 9th or 10th for both, which tends to happen when you score pretty much against everyone. Which is precisely what Ronaldo did that season. Whereas Messi, he did miss 2 teams. Sporting Gijon, which doesn't matter much, and Real Madrid. That's what you're looking for. The margins were so tight that season that it all came down to a single week. Not just in La Liga, but in the Champions League as well. On the other side of the coin, things were, ironically, kind of similar.
Okay,
I could make a whole point about how strange it was that even though up till that year, Messi had been the only one to break past the 10-goal mark in the Champions League since the 1970s, now suddenly, just as he hit an incredible 14 goals, he had not Ronaldo, but Mario Gomez right below him with 12. But he wasn't the one who knocked Messi out of the competition. Mario Gomez knocked out Ronaldo. Messi, he had to play Chelsea. In the span of 7 days, he had both legs of a Champions League semi-final to play, as well as an El Clasico deemed as a title decider right in between them. Going in, Messi was on a streak of 26 goals in 14 games. 14 games in which Barcelona had won 13 and never gotten defeated, while Chelsea weren't even top 5 in their league. Yet that day, as unlucky as they may have been, even hitting the post twice, they lost 1-0. That already broke their mentality quite a bit, but then, you know, having
Drogba
already failed to score in his previous 3 El Clasicos, as the newspapers claimed there were 2 men and 1 league for the taking. Even if, creatively, Messi had a decent game just as he had against Chelsea, he just seemed completely unable to lose the defenders and get himself in positions to score, and so it all ended with the infamous Calma celebration. By the third of those matches, the second leg against Chelsea, they had no option but to come back and win. However, even though Messi would be assisting the goal that put them in front 2 minutes off of half-time, not only did Chelsea somehow take back the lead before the break, even if only on away goals, but right as the match restarted, Fabregas went down in the box. Yet after scoring all 12 of his penalties that season, Messi hit the bar. After that, he kind of lost it. There have not been many times where I've seen Messi try to dribble past the whole team over and over again like that. And yeah, it did hit the post in the 83rd minute, but by then he had already lost possession 36 times. And once Torres buried in another in injury time, it was over. Season ruined. In the very last game, at least they scavenged the Copa del Rey, but anyone could easily argue that Messi only scored in the final once they were already ahead. And aside from that, he hadn't even scored against Valencia in either leg of the semis or against Real in either leg of the quarters. It's not just about how many goals, but about...
Okay, damn, nigga, this nigga, okay, I get it. Messi was fat, lazy, he missed, bro. People just allowed him to score. God, bro, he's throwing so much facts in my face, bro. Like, are y'all peeping this? Is this actually convincing?
When those goals are scored. And as the following year started, with Guardiola gone, Messi seemed to be after some kind of redemption, scoring in all 3 El Clasicos played in that first half. But even that wasn't enough for the Spanish Super Cup. After that, there were no more trophies to play for 12. So the real question is, how can it be that out of all the years, it was in the one where he scored the most, that Messi seemed to be the least clutch he's ever been? Well, I have a theory. If you look at the timeline, his heat maps, whatever, that was his final year as a false 9. Maybe you could argue 2013, but that didn't look too good either. I mean,
He
he
got injured that
literally
year.
went from 91 goals to 45, that's less than half. And already then, he was morphing into a deeper role. The thing is, that false nine role had worked incredibly well from 2009 to 2011, so what was different? I think that just as Guardiola's
People got used to
tactics
it.
that shocked the world back in 2009, by 2012, even if some teams were still behind, the very best had caught up, and now they knew more or less what were the best ways to stop them. In the words of Guardiola himself a few years later, we were playing brilliantly, but I was on my knees and had no new tactical ideas left. That was why I had to leave. People forget, he was still just a rookie manager at the time. Sure, he had made his ideal football philosophy work, but what comes next? That's an even harder problem to solve, and you could see it. This guy had Barcelona playing in a 3-7-0 formation at the Club World Cup, and even worse for a guy still learning his ropes, the Barcelona president at the time, Sandro
3-7-0?
Rosell, reportedly rejected his plans to make drastic changes to the squad once Pep realized they were about to get left behind. There's claims he was willing to go as far as selling both Piqué, Dani Alves, and Fabregas, but it just didn't let him. Add to that the injury of David Villa, and from my
I'm not gonna lie, Pep really is like a one-trick pony. Like, let's talk about that real quick. Last video, I said that Pep was dick sucking Messi because he said if Neymar only stayed in Barcelona, then he would have won 3 Champions Leagues. And to add on the hate on him, I think he's just a one-trick pony. Like, generally, let's talk about it because he did that with Barcelona. You know, he had a trick. The world wasn't catching up. They were just like, what the hell's happening? What the hell's happening? And then 2012, he leaves because he doesn't have any more ideas. The world catches up. He goes to I think Bayern, right? I don't know what happens in Bayern, but then he goes to Man City. Now he does maybe the same trick, but it's a different trick in a different league. The world is like, what the hell's happening? So he just wins league title after league title, Champions League title after league title. You know what I'm saying? Then the world catches up, and now he's losing control. Like, every single time, like, everyone now is like catching up. They know what he's gonna do. These players are systematic. They're all robots. No creativity whatsoever. He has great individual players, that's why it still works. But like, realistically, everyone knows what's gonna happen. Pass in the box. Oh, somebody goes out to the wing. They're crossing. Header. It's the same thing over and over again.
Perspective, I see that Guardiola was left with a system that was imbalanced, in need of a rework, and without the proper tools for that, he looked to the one player he trusted above all, and decided to just put his old tactics into overdrive and just hope for the best. But the reality is that with everything flowing towards Messi, while also expecting him to help a bit with the build-up, even if his impossibly high usage rates allowed him to put up numbers never seen before, he also ended up being stretched thin. And, of course, not only is that the kind of thing that tends to show up the most in big games, but those were precisely the ones against the teams that were now starting to somewhat learn how to stop that system. In other words, that version of Messi got pushed further and further, shining brighter and brighter until it just burned out like a supernova. And you saw that in 2013, as he went for virtually no injuries in 3 years to spending 126 days on the sidelines then. Not to mention that, his goal tally got cut in half. If putting Messi in the middle felt like a stroke of genius at first, by the end, it barely looked like the Messi we knew from before. Listen, one thing that I find funny when some casual Messi fan claims that 2012 was his best year is that, technically, you could argue that was his most Penaldo year. Not only did his assist numbers get cut in almost half from the year before, but 78 out of those 91 goals were scored from inside the box. It took 17 penalties that year. Aside from Ronaldo and Immobile, that's maybe the record. And I feel Messi fans especially always talk down on tap-ins, but I went over the 91 goals one by one, and though some may be debatable, I'd say around 40% of his goals were either penalties or tap-ins. In fact, similarly, even though...
Do you know how crazy that is? 40% of them were either in the box or penalties. I never want to hear one of you Messi gremlins to ever talk down on Ronaldo. But tap-ins or 91 goals is impressive. That disgusts me. Like, dead ass, bro. Get your lives in check. Like, check the facts. Let the man spit.
Similarly, even though not all of those are tap-ins, one thing that surprised me was that 57% of his goals were scored with one single touch. If you compare that to his dribbling peak of 2010, back then it was only 36%. When I picture Messi, I picture him dribbling through whole defenses at once, but for the most part of 2012, as you can see, that was not the Messi we got.
That was not the Messi we got. That was hamburger Messi. McDonald's saw more of Messi than we saw of Messi. Okay? So never come to me, you Messi, short, ugly gremlins, and talk about Ronaldo's tap-ins are the worst disgrace ever in football history. Because Messi's 91 goal season was the worst. Nah, I'm just like, not the word, but then never come to us. Shout out Ronaldo, bro. That's my boy. See, I've always believed in Ronaldo. Like, I've always said this. Ronaldo is the guy. You know what I'm saying? I never talked down on him, ever. Never said nothing bad about him either. Definitely.
In conclusion, I feel like that take is kind of like that meme, where the dumbest football fans claim 2012 is overrated because they just hate Messi. The casuals claim it is the best year ever because of the big flashy number. And finally, there's the hardcore Messi fans who really understand his career and understand that he definitely had better years than 2012. And if you're asking what years those were, well, a lot of people like 2018 or 2019, more mature Messi sitting a bit deeper. In 2018, still managing just 57 minutes per goal contribution.
Right.
Second best after 2012.
Solo Messi, bro.
We all know that was not it. There's also the
Solo
sextuple year in 2009, but it was still young, his numbers weren't quite there. 2015 is obviously incredibly memorable, great numbers, a lot of trophies, almost all you need. But Neymar took the spotlight away from him far too often for that to be the one. Personally,
God,
I always
can you just say the year, bro? Because those are all the years I said, and he just shit talked all of them. He said none of them. So what is it?
2010, I mean, the numbers were already insane on their own. But then you realize he wasn't the main penalty or free kick taker, and guess what? If he'd had the chance to score 14 penalties and 7 free kicks the way he had in 2012, it'd be up to 79 goals in 5 fewer games. That's 67 minutes per goal. In 2012, it was at 66. And aside from that, it was his peak dribbling season.
67?
However, still only the league and Super Cup, so I guess that leaves us with a year that's, in my opinion, is the one to rule them all.
2022?
2011. Sure.
What?
59 goals.
Bro, no. Okay, I'm ending this video. I am ending this video. I don't care. 2011. Was that even a number? Who the fuck says 2011? I've never heard anyone say 2011. Like, nothing happens in 2011. Nothing, right? Like, that's such an odd number, 2011. Like, if you think of Messi, anyone, any career, anything, 2011? 11? Come on, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Are a lot less than 91, but that year, Messi put down 37 assists. Meaning, he did not have the all-time record for the most goals in a calendar year, but he did have the record for the most assists ever. And even if his time with Argentina was a bit disappointing, at Barcelona, it wasn't just that he averaged a goal contribution every 60 minutes, but he did that while taking 5 out of the 6 trophies, only missing out on the Copa del Rey, all throughout scoring in every other final, with maybe his best ever performance in the UCL final.
That was the performance he had where he sat on the ball before the game, right? The one that he had the 10. He's the only player to have a 10 out of 10 rating in a Champions League final. This is the game. Okay, that's the only thing that happened in 2011. The only thing. Was that 2009? Okay, I think it was this one.
After having already scored in every knockout round to get them there. And guess what? La Liga's top scorer that year was Ronaldo. It's not about how many you score. It's about when you score them.
Damn. Damn. That video was incredibly good. Daily Dose of Football, bro, you are the man. You are the man, bro. I don't care how many times you repeat this shirt, bro. You can repeat it 20 fucking million times, bro. Let it drench, let it stink, let it be musty. I will still support you, dog. Bro, can we all agree that he just flipped a whole mindset of how Messi is like whole career is? Generally, I just every single time, like I would say personally where I stand, I cannot answer the question whether I support Messi or Ronaldo, who's the greatest, but I can always say that when somebody brings up the 91, goals in a calendar year, I'm always like starstruck. I don't know what to say. It's like, yeah, you're right. You're right. But now it's like, I can say something, bro. Like, you can't come to me and chat to me about 91, bro. 50% of those were tap-ins, bro. Like, 50% of them were tap-ins, bro. So shout out this guy because he's literally changed everything, bro. Debates are gonna be like, oof. So go show him some love, subscribe to him, like this video if you, and I would like it, but you guys go like the video, and yeah, man, like, damn. Okay. All right, what's next though? What's next? What